Hello, I'm Adam Miller, co-host and associate producer of the RPM Show. Now, in this video, I will be giving a review of Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 is in basically what I like to call a movie that has been 11 years in the making. Now, as you all remember, the last movie, Toy Story 2, came out in 1999. And so it's been 11 years in between. Now, I have to say that those 11 years were very much well worth the wait. And of course, I will get to that more when I give my opinion later on. But first, I'm going to give a brief look over of the basic plot of the movie, in which I will try to sum it up in about maybe a couple sentences, give or take. Basically, the basic overall idea is that Andy's going away to college, and so he doesn't know he doesn't want to take all of his toys with him. Having toys like that in a college dorm, you don't want to, cause any problems with anybody. But he decides to take Woody, but accidentally he decides to keep the rest, but he's just going to throw them all in the attic. Well, one thing leads to another. They all end up getting shipped by his mom to a daycare center where they meet hundreds of other toys, specifically Ken, Ken, Barbie's love interest, because Barbie actually tags along, who was one of his sister's dolls, tags along with the gang and gets shipped off to the daycare center as well. And so they meet, and that's where a lot of the big funny parts come in. For those of you who know the Barbie and Kenny, the whole thing with those dolls. But anyway, there is a new, I guess, a somewhat new villain in this big strawberry bear who smells like strawberries. He's big and pink and white, whatever. He introduces them to the daycare center, but one thing leads to another. They quickly find out that they would much rather be with Andy, and so they plot their escape. And now, when I say they plot their escape, this movie brings a lot of references from a 1963 World War II movie, which is actually one of my all-time favorites. It's called The Great Escape, and it's with Steve McQueen, Richard Attenborough, in a huge all-star cast. Feel free to check that out. It's a classic movie. Anyway, back to Toy Story 3. Basically, Toy Story 3 continues the tradition of, toys, and it basically, if for me, this is where I gave my opinion on this movie. Now, I have to say that Toy Story 3 was, as I said, it was well worth the 11 years to wait. This movie was superb. I mean, it was just phenomenal. I have been a big fan of the Toy Story movies ever since I very much remember going to see the first one twice, actually, in the theater back in 1995, and I remember my parents took me and a friend to see it, Toy Story 2, when it came out in '99. But this one, I say that this one actually completes the trilogy. I mean, the way that it ended, now without giving any spoilers or what have you, anything. I just have to say that the way this movie ended, this is a definite close on the Toy Story franchise. It pretty much closes it down. I can't foresee that it left itself open for a Toy Story 4. If they want to do it, I'm sure Pixar will come up with a new idea, and it'll be even better. But I kind of think that Toy Story 1 and 2 and 3 should be enough. They can just have a Toy Story trilogy. Now, in regards to the 3D, I actually went and saw this movie in Disney Digital 3D. I couldn't go see IMAX 3D because it was when I got there, the theater was sold out. So, in regards to the 3D, I actually now, if you listen to our shows on the RPM shows, you will notice that me and my co-host Mike Bowler, who and are very much for the 3D, thing. We want to see more of it, but actually, this is one movie where I have to say that the 3D was unnecessary. I think Toy Story 3 did not need the 3D because there was really nothing in there 3D worthy. I think it would have been just as good without it. I just think it was kind of it's what I like to call the 3D fever effect. Basically, the studio sees money in the 3D. They see, the 3D with the bumped up ticket prices, which are, getting very hectic now, as many of you know, and I'm sure you can all agree with me. But basically, Toy Story 3 did not need the 3D. I think it was totally unnecessary. When you look at it, if you're watching 3D, you kind of think, was this really necessary? It could have been just fine on its own. But when all said and done, Toy Story 3 did not need the 3D. I mean, I am so for the 3D when it comes to stuff like Alice in Wonderland, Christmas Carol, or Avatar, or the upcoming Tron Legacy, which comes out in the end of the year. Um, but Toy Story 3 did not need the 3D. It could have been totally unnecessary. But anyway, Toy Story 3 is actually one of very few films that I've seen so far this year that I am actually going to call one of the best of the year. I'm kind of holding back on calling it the best film of the year because there's a lot more coming out this summer that I have high hopes for. So I'm kind of holding it up. I am saying at the end of the year, I will give Toy Story 3, a lot of, 2 thumbs up, a lot of high marks. I will actually call it one of the best films of the year. It's funny, totally funny, I should say. There's a lot of fun. It's great to see the gang back on the screen again. The gang of toys, Woody, Buzz Lightyear, and the whole Ham, Rex, and Potato Heads, all of them. I must say that Toy Story is actually one of very few Disney Pixar movies lately that I've actually enjoyed, with the exception of Ratatouille and the other 2 Toy Story movies. But it's anyway, Toy Story 3, great movie, absolutely fantastic, totally worthy of being the final, I guess the final chapter in the Toy Story franchise. It pretty much closes it out. But anyway, go see the movie. Definitely go see the movie. Tell me what you think. Email me and send me your thoughts and opinions on adam@therpmshow.com. And also check us out on therpmshow.com, our website, and email where you can email any other questions to my other 2 co-hosts, Ryan@therpmshow.com and Mike@therpmshow.com. And also check out our Facebook page and our MySpace page, and we are on iTunes. And also check out our YouTube page, which is where this video will be posted in a matter of minutes. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your Father's Day weekend. And I will be back hopefully next week with a review of Grown Ups, or another movie that we'll probably be seeing next week. But I think it's probably going to be Grown Ups, the Adam Sandler movie. But anyway, go see Toy Story 3. Take your kids to see it. This is a great family movie. Now, I'm not going to tell you whether to see in 3D or not because, you can make that final decision. But I will say the 3D, if you go see it, you will quickly realize the 3D was unnecessary. But anyway, Toy Story 3, great movie. Go see it. And have a great Father's Day weekend. I will see you all hopefully next week for another review. And till then,